Hey guys, welcome back to Welding with Mr. Sapanik. Today's lesson we're going to be talking about setting up to operate with our V-grooves, stick welding, and the flat position. First thing you're going to need to do is you are going to need to make sure that you have two plates, and these plates are 3/8 thickness. We're tested to the AWS D1.1 welding code, and we are operating that with 3/8 plate, so that means that this test would certify you up to 1 inch. This is what your bevel is going to look like. This is on a 30-degree bevel. You want to have a minimum of a 22.5 or a 45 degree bevel, or a 30 degree to make it an overall of a 60-degree bevel. So I'll be operating with a 30-degree bevel on each side to make it 60 degrees. Next thing you guys will need is a backing strip. This backing strip here is 1/4 inch thick, okay? And notice how it is shiny on one side. Nothing wrong with the other side, but it's nice and clean. This is going to allow for a better arc as you guys are welding. I'm going to take that and I'm going to stick it right in the middle of my plate here, and I'm going to overhang it about 1 inch or so, 1.5 inches. That's just going to allow me to get my clamp a little bit farther up onto that piece. I'm also going to take two other 1/4 inch pieces, nothing wrong with them, nothing grinded or anything, and I'm actually going to stick them right next to each side here, leaving about 1.5 inch gap in between them. That way I can use that to step my my 3/8 plates on here. Once I get those set up and ready to go, I'm then going to take my plates and I'm going to stick them right in the center of that grinded plate. Okay, now if you notice, I do not have, like, this plate is smaller than these. All right, the plates that we're welding on are about 6 inches long. This backing plate is 8 inches long. We have what's called runoff tabs here, okay? So we want to equally put our piece in between those two runoff tabs. Now, after I get it centered here, we're not going to butt up our pieces. You actually want to have them with about 1/4 inch gap right in the center of them. Easiest way to identify that is to get the same thickness material as your backing strip, 1/4 inch, and we are just going to simply put that right in the middle there, line up our pieces where we need to, and now we'll be able to tack it up. After we line that up, we're going to put this in the center. Very gently, we're going to clamp this down, trying not to move anything. Let's show you guys what it looks like here. So this is what our clamp together is going to look like. We have our 1/4 inch gap there. These are our runoff tabs on each side. Okay, this is just here to keep this nice and flat. We're clamped right in the center to where we can actually put some welds. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come right here. We're going to put 2 welds on this side, 2 welds on this side, while our clamp is still tacked together, or still pushed together. Our machine here, we're set at 120 amps. Go ahead and throw our hood on. Safety first, got to get your gloves on. And this doesn't have to be the prettiest weld. Depending on your welding procedure, it doesn't have to be even the same weld. But we're going to be welding this out with 70/18, so rather than switching a whole bunch of rods, I'm just going to reuse my 70/18 rod. Once you go ahead and weld those, if you have your any slag that's stuck in your beveled joint, you want to make sure that you are removing that, because we don't want to weld over top of that slag. Show you guys what it looks like. Now you want a tack weld big enough to where it's not going to break, but you don't want it too big. That's all you need. Okay, now next step, we are actually going to take this clamp off. And we're going to take this, we are going to flip it over. Now some people put 3 welds on the back side, some people put 1 weld on the back side, some people make a weld here, and then a weld here on both sides. But what you guys are going to do is we're just going to put 1 weld right in the center, about 1 inch long. Okay? One side done there. Flip her around. Do this back side. This is how we look with our welds here. Now you don't have to clean these up, they don't mean anything. They are just preventing this material here from bowing here in the center. Keeping everything together. Okay, so now we have it tacked together. We have our nice 1/4 inch gap in between here. We'll just take a wire brush right before we go to weld it and wire brush that. And then what you're gonna do when you start welding, you're gonna start right here at the beginning of your plate, weld through, all the way here to the end of your runoff tabs. These are here for you to weld on, okay? Do not stop here, do not start here. Start on your runoff tab, finish on your runoff tab. And we'll be back with another lesson to finish welding this out. That's all for today.